Hey guys, Clarissa Booker here, your holistic health and wellness coach. And today we're going to talk a little bit about sleep optimization because I know sometimes whether now, in the near future, or you have recently potentially just struggled with sleep optimization. And so we're going to get into some simple tips just to help us improve our quality of sleep. All right, let's go. Okay, so the key to better health and performance. So there is just a lot of people. I mean, I've experienced it myself just having trouble with sleep. And ideally, did you know that one third of Americans sleep less than 7 hours per night? And chronic sleep deprivation increases risk of obesity, heart disease, and dementia. And it can just potentially lead you down a downward spiral. Sleep is so very important. So even if you think you are surviving off 4 or 5 hours of sleep, it will catch up with you. At one point, it will just hit you like that. And it can definitely pull from other areas of your life when it comes to sleep. The quality of your sleep is extremely important. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about understanding your sleep cycles. Okay. So we have the non-REM sleep, the first three stages of sleep. So with stage three being deep, three, it was just crucial. Three being deep sleep, which is crucial for physical recovery. REM sleep, where most dreams occur, your brain may process emotions and consolidates memories. Complete cycle lasts 70 to 120 minutes. You cycle through these stages multiple times throughout the night. And circadian rhythm is your body's internal clock that responds to light and darkness, regulating your sleep hormones. Okay. So just get some of them out the way there. And some signs that your sleep cycle is disrupted. Maybe you've experienced some of these. Maybe some of these are happening to you now. Daytime exhaustion, when you're feeling tired all day, then as soon as it's time for you to wind down, you just get this burst of energy as it's time for you to go to bed. Middle of night waking up, say you're waking up at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night and you just cannot sleep, your mind is just racing, right? The one thing I do recommend is not for you to turn on the TV because that will be more stimulating. So just trying to find something a little bit more relaxing, like whether it's a meditation or sounds or something of that nature, just something that's not stimulating. Some people they'll be like, "Well, I'm awake. I'm just going to turn on the TV until I fall asleep." And that's actually going to be counterproductive. It's just going to be more stimulating, if that makes sense. Wired but tired, feeling exhausted yet unable to calm your mind for sleep. A good thing to do definitely is journaling in that point. You just have a lot on your mind and just thinking and you're just up, okay? Increased appetite, especially the simple sugar, right? The simple carbohydrates, all carbohydrates are not bad, right? And there's no bad or good food ideally. But the more simple carbs, with the sugar, the more processed foods, and if you find yourself grazing on them throughout the day just for that spike in energy, but eventually, it ideally does drop down, okay? Some light exposure. So this can help with regulating our sleep and everything and how we function. Morning light, get 10 to 15 minutes of bright natural light if possible within an hour of waking. And this can help set your internal clock. This does depending on where you live, the time of day, the season, because all of that can affect that. So, but it is good to just get out there. Also, that fresh air can be very invigorating. Okay, even if it's cold, right? That will definitely wake you up. You've been outside and you'd be like, oh, and you just get this shock of awakeness. Okay, daytime, maintain exposure to bright light throughout the day to keep alertness high. The evening, dim your lights and limit blue light from the screens. And also, there are beta blue blockers if you must, right? Those are great. So you can get them just about anywhere these days. And even if you have a prescription, you can get those from your doctor as well. And these can definitely help, okay? Create a complete darkness in your room before bedtime for optimal melatonin production. So blackout curtains are great, okay, for yourself, for your kids, all of the things, especially depending on maybe your work schedule or where you live. Sometimes, depending on the time of day, sometimes it's light when ideally you would like to go to bed at a certain hour so that you can reset for the morning. Okay. So essential sleep optimization techniques. So create a sleep sanctuary, keep your bedroom cool. This is going to vary from person to person on what's comfortable for you. Say you are run more pitta as an Ayurveda, you might be a little bit more hot. So maybe compared to somebody else. So it kind of depends on your body, but ideally 60 to 70, 60 to 67 degrees is a very good temperature, right? Having it completely dark, as I mentioned a moment ago, quiet, invest in quality mattress and pillows. You need to flip your mattress, okay? So some things like that. And with it quiet, so say you live in an area where it's a little bit more busy, maybe like a sound machine would be good, or just some meditation music, or just different things like that to help drown that out, to help it be a little bit more quiet, right? Or maybe just like it completely peaceful, but figuring out how you can maneuver that to fit your needs, okay? Having a consistent schedule, waking up and going to bed at the same time. And this also does include the weekends just to help you stay consistent with that, okay? Bedtime routines, developing relaxing activities like warm baths, gentle yoga, reading, or meditation before sleep. So adding that in to your bedtime wind down hour is, I feel like it's a little tongue twister for me sometimes when I say that. So a nice relaxing bath that can definitely help you feel soothed. Maybe some gentle stretching, some restorative yoga per se, reading a good book, reading versus watching the news, for example. Sometimes the news can put us in a whole lot of emotion. There's a lot going on in the world, right? So instead of opting for that, I had to do that to myself. Sometimes I just need to take a break from all of the news because it's a lot to process, right? It can sit on your soul. So sitting there instead, opting to read instead. Okay. Nutrition and hydration for better sleep. So magnesium-rich foods, dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, some whole grains, right? That will definitely a little bit more nourishing foods. The magnesium-rich foods, especially good for so many reasons, and also for your sleep. Okay, avoiding caffeine 10 hours before bed. Okay, and eating, try eating maybe 3 hours before you go to sleep so that your food has a chance to digest as well. And ideally, one, maybe 2 cups of coffee in the day, but earlier in the day. Sometimes it's not even the coffee that we're craving. Sometimes it's more nutrient dense foods, or sometimes you just need some water, right? So just limiting that caffeine before sleep, looking for at least 10 hours, but a good rule of thumb is 1 to 2 beginning of the day, okay? Alcohol, even though you may feel like you're sleepy, it really is disrupting your sleep cycle. Okay. So avoiding, limiting, or at the very least, with having a glass of wine with dinner, if you choose. Okay. At around 5 o'clock. So that you have all that time later to settle. Okay. Sugary foods, as I mentioned before, can cause your blood sugar to fluctuate. So you might eat something that's sugary or have that midday cup of coffee. I'm guilty in my past. I used to have that midday cup of coffee, right? I have to be mindful of that still. To be like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, okay, but what do I really need if I feel I want that coffee? Am I really just thirsty? Do I need to eat something, right, to nourish my body? Because if you do eat that more sugary food, your blood sugar you'll be up. And then if you notice you just get really lethargic, or maybe like that itis kicks in, right? So your blood sugar just kind of fluctuates in that moment. So timing matters. So as I mentioned before, finishing your last meal about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, staying hydrated, and it'll tapering off throughout the evening. Okay. Physical activity and sleep quality, always a win. Okay. The daytime exercise, aiming for at least 30 minutes a day is great. Now, you could do some lighter activity on some days, a little heavier on other days, but at least getting there and moving your body, it's so beneficial for so many things. Okay. And this can also help you fall asleep. So depending, I can work out in the evening and I can still go to bed. It doesn't bother me personally. But say you're like it makes you feel super invigorated and it doesn't you feel like you're up, then just work out earlier in the day. Plan your schedule. So this can also go back to that sleeping routine, right? Where you might want to wake up at 5 or 6 and you're used to waking up at 7. So waking up earlier just to give yourself that space to move your body, okay? And so avoiding intense workouts, maybe 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours. So if you know you got to go to bed at 10, I mean, don't work out at like 8:30, right? So that you can just like wind down, just giving yourself that space for your body to just kind of settle and you just feel great. Then you can have, something, maybe a protein shake or just something after just to get that nourishment. Because also saying you're working out, then you want to have some food to nourish your body after you work out. So just like we said, you don't want to go to bed on the food. So just spacing that out, right? Maybe you worked out 3 hours before. Say you went to the maybe you do the after gym where it's like 5 or 6, and then you go home, have some dinner, a healthy dinner there. And then, but your body had a couple of hours to settle. So that's good instead of being like 8 to 9, right? And then you're feeling kind of rushed. So maybe, for the movement, the gentle yoga, the Tai Chi, just some gentle stretching just to get in there. And it also helps open your body up and just help promote that relaxation as well. So if you want to do something closer, so say you went to the gym earlier and you worked out, but now you ate, you do all those things and now you're ready, but you just want something extra, maybe just do some gentle stretches, something that feels a little bit more restorative to your body just to help you get down into that little, calming state. Yes. And a positive cycle here. Improved sleep leads to better workouts, and better workouts lead to even better sleep. So everything is always connected. So, the way you do one thing, the way you do the other. So if you notice, whether our nutrition, the way we move our body, our sleep quality, our stress levels, everything affects everything and everything is going to be connected. Okay. Let's say some mental preparation for optimal sleep, meditation, even a few minutes before bed can calm an active mind. Try guided sleep meditations. So I also have some guided sleep meditations on a YouTube channel here for you as well. And I also do have like some series of like 20 that you also can get as well to help. Journaling, writing down your thoughts and worries to clear your mind before sleep. Deep breathing. Try the 4-7-8 breathing. So inhaling for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. Okay. And this will definitely help ease you, especially if you do have those racing thoughts. Just getting in there and just breathing will really help settle you. So you can do a couple of rounds of that. Inhale 4, hold 7, and the longer exhale out through your mouth. Okay. And that will definitely help you there. And the wind down routine. So your consistent activities that you're going to do. So creating that routine, and then your body will go to look through for that, and then you'll be able to start getting to sleep better. And it will just give your body a signal that, okay, it's time to go to bed. It's time for me to just settle. And then you'll notice as time goes, it will be, a more intact habit and behavior for you to do. Okay. Technology and sleep, finding balance. Digital sunset. So set a specific time, 1 to 2 hours before bed, when you turn off all screens. Okay. So turning off the TV, putting your phone, if you would like to keep it in your room, on a sleep mode. Okay. Or putting it in another room, unless you have an emergency or something. Sometimes people you might feel more secure having it next to you, but making sure it's on that sleep cycle so that you're not feeling tempted to like go in there and play around with it. Okay, I even have this app I downloaded called Opal. It's just so I do not feel the need to delete the app and redo the app. And I mean, obviously I could get on and look at other certain apps on my other devices because we all have so many, but it doesn't even dawn on me. I was like, okay, well, it's just a friendly reminder to me just to put it down and I just move on, right? It's not like I have to get on the Instagram and stuff like that. I'll be like, okay, I shouldn't be on it right now, and I just move on. Okay. Yes, because I know I feel like a lot of times we use our social media for work and stuff. So instead of me deleting it and undeleting, and I even have access to online, I don't need actually need to get on the apps, but sometimes I have it on there. But at this point, I don't even really think about the channels. I don't really think about them because I'm conditioned not to really use them as much. Okay. But that's a good rule of thumb, giving yourself a good 2 hours. That also includes maybe the TV. So instead of watching the TV, that's replacing that with reading instead of watching the news or just some show, and just setting aside the time for that earlier. Okay. It can definitely help getting you into that mode of sleep. All right. The blue light that we talked about earlier. So if you do find it necessary to have a device on for whatever reason that is, okay, having the blue light blocking glasses and then the thing, everything on nighttime mode. So my phone automatically goes on nighttime mode, maybe like an hour before or like 45 minutes or something like that. So it automatically dims. And so it's very helpful. Okay. Use sleep tracking tools, white noise apps, smart lighting to improve sleep, the phone-free zone, keep your bedroom a technology-free sanctuary, use an old-fashioned alarm clock. Or do we still use those, right? They're just sitting there in our room. Okay. We're just sometimes we feel like we're so dependable on our devices, but it's good to, take a break, step back. We're telling our children not to be on their devices, right? So, we should do that as well. It's good for all of us, no matter what age we are. So, building a sustainable sleep schedule, optimal health, better sleep quality transforms all aspects of life, consistency, maintaining regular wake times, the environment. We talked about it being dark, cool, a quiet bedroom, habits, light, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness. So it's simple, right? Just taking one thing at a time. And if you're feeling like that's just so much that she said, just, taking the one thing at a time. But ideally, 7 to 9 hours, 7 to 8 hours, getting an ideal amount of sleep, it will help us perform better, right? It'll help us be more alert, better focus. Sleep is so vital. And sometimes we just put it on the back burner until it like hits us, right? And we don't want it to get to that point when it's just like hitting us. We're just like, whoa, and you're just feeling just like icky. Okay. So just these simple steps here. Okay, this health, the optimal health, consistency, environment, habits, you will notice it, okay? And you'll just notice that you'll start to feel better, okay? Wonderful. And if you need some extra guidance, right, I'm here for you. Sometimes it is great to have that accountability just to help you on your health journey for, your wellness goals are super important. You're ready. You watch this video and you're ready. So there is definitely a link down there for a form for you to fill out. And we just ask a couple questions before we begin. All right. Until next time, embrace diversity and love. Bye.